Hey everyone, let's do this. Okay, I already know I say it every single time. I'm so excited to do this. It's because each time I have like an amazing person I want to talk to, and this one is like, this whole topic is very near and dear to my heart, to my family, to everything. Hey Katie, hey everyone, if you're just hopping on. And guess what? Got a new phone today, and this is my very first live from my new phone. So everything's kind of weird, so bear with me. Hey Katie. Okay, my guest is Katie Jenkins. I cannot wait. I'm waiting for her to pop on, or maybe I'll invite her. Okay. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to navigate this new phone. Here it is. Invite. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Catherine. Do you really go by Catherine or do you go by Kat? I was actually wondering that the other day. Okay, Katie, add. Bring Katie on camera. Yes. Yay! It worked! I was just saying, and guys, can you hear me and everything okay? Because I got this new phone today, and finally I'm on the iPhone X train. I finally upgraded. But they put it, I got this new case, and they put it in this case that's kind of like a wallet too. And I can't figure out how to even get it out of the thing. So it's still in the case. So I want to make sure Katie, Samples, and whoever else is on here. Can you guys hear me okay? I want to make sure it's not blocking my microphone or anything. And leave us, if you are on here live right now, leave us a 1 if you are catching this live, because you guys are some lucky people. Okay, Katie, you can hear me. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're here live, you're lucky. That's all I have to say. And if you are a replay watcher, leave us a 2. Drop us a 2 if you are one of our replay watchers. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of jump right into this. I don't even know how, and this entire video is not going to be just about adrenal gland problems, but I just think it's so ironic that, and I don't even know how I found out. I think I posted in my health group or something, and you were like, and you mentioned it, and I was like, oh my gosh, somebody knows about adrenal gland problems and, you know, chronic fatigue syndrome and adrenal gland insufficiency and all of these weird terms that most people are like, you're nuts, like you're crazy, or, you know, that's the look that we get. And I don't personally, you know, suffer from this, but adrenal glands, this disease is really what drives me at working LimeLight. It is the disease that rocked my family's world. Okay, David was like a bodybuilder. I mean, huge and big and never had any problems. And, you know, one day he was just like, we were at the park and he was like, you know, I just don't feel well. Like, I'm just tired. And it was like that. And he was literally in bed for 10 months straight. And I don't mean just like in bed and, you know, he would get up and be able to work. I mean, he was the sole provider for our family. He had his own car business. I mean, like, not even getting out of bed to, like, cook or to be able to eat. Like, everything was brought to him. I know this sounds gross, but I mean, not even to get up and just pee was hard. Like, he would keep, like, bottles on the nightstand, like, to just pee in. And it was, like, it was crazy. It was just awful. We went to specialists, supposed to be like the best in the world, in Michigan, like hours and hours away. We went there. We've been everywhere, and it's just such a not really talked about disease. And I know you'll get to this too, but people, you know, you say adrenal glands and they just look at you like cross-eyed or like you're crazy. Like, people literally, like, And our family, you know, thought he was like crazy in the head or something, because Katie, I mean, seriously, looking at you, you look, I mean, you look amazing. You look healthy. I
Thank
mean,
you.
there's nothing wrong with you, like, at all. Like, and he's a big guy. Like, he's muscular, and people would look at him and be like, you can't, like, walk down the steps. I mean, he had to work up to walking upstairs even. It was crazy. And that's my driving force behind me running with LimeLight, is so if, God forbid, you know, he backslides or something like that's to happen again, I want us to have everything covered, you know, financially. And so whenever I learned that you were struggling with that too, and I want to learn a lot more about you too, I was just like, oh my gosh, like somebody else that has dealt with this. So guys, I'm going to turn this over. This is Katie Jenkins. She is in sunny Florida. I wish I was there. My aunt actually lives in Melbourne. So small world.
That was weird.
I know. But I'm going to turn it over to Katie, and I just want you just to, you know, introduce yourself and, you know, tell us where you're from. I don't even know if you're from. Are you from Florida? I don't even know.
No.
Okay. I don't even know. So just fill us all in, because I want to learn, you know, just as much as everybody else. And I want to, you know really more about like your adrenal gland, like, journey, and then, you know, your journey with LimeLight too, and how you even learned about it, and, you know, when you joined. How long have you been with LimeLight?
9 months now.
Okay,
so
I didn't think it had been a year yet. So, you know, I want to know about that journey too, and kind of your perspective on it. So I'm going to quit, and I'm going to turn it over to Katie.
Okay. First of all, I want to say it's super weird to be sideways, because I don't know if I look like I'm looking at you or if I look like
my eyes are crossed the like entire time.
Okay. So, I have honestly, I mean, I'm going to try to keep like, some of my illnesses very short and just kind of off to the side, but I basically just kind of have had a lot of health issues this is the 8th year now. And, especially kind of when I moved to Florida, it gave me a little more hope, because I'm like, the doctors will be better down here. And it was still just kind of the same song and dance. You know, you have to see a new doctor, and then you see a new specialist, and you give them your whole spiel of everything that's wrong, and they do a bunch of labs. So then you get really hopeful that they're doing blood work, and then they're like, you're great, your labs are normal, and you're too young to feel like that, so you'll be fine. But it was like literally year after year I kept getting worse, and it wasn't until I had my son that my body was like, you're done. And it was like, I used to love very high intensity workouts, and I couldn't do stuff like that anymore. And it got to the point to where walking was too much for me. It was just a really tough struggle. And, you know, it's defeating when you see all these doctors and you see all these specialists, and you're sent to all these different directions, and no one can find anything wrong with you, but you know.
And they just look at you like, why are you like, you know, or what do they usually say? I don't know. Maybe start exercising, or like change your diet. And they would be like, if I could, you know, I would. Or they would look at him, and he's like this, you know, big muscular guy, and they're like, you can't like walk. Like they don't get it. And I know what you were talking about. You're like, you get so hopeful when they run those labs. I cannot count the amount of blood work we've had done. And every time, like, especially when we went to Michigan, like this world renowned, you know, doctor, we were so excited going there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be the cure. Everything's going to be fine. And then to have that let-down again, it was just like, it was devastating. Like, it was awful.
Yeah. So, I guess just from being vulnerable to others, kind of fell into the lap of a naturopathic doctor. And I did find a lot of information from them, but for me, I just felt like it turned into be a money pit. And, you know, naturopathic doctors aren't covered by insurance. Acupuncture is not covered by insurance. Like, nothing that's really good for you is covered by insurance. So I felt like as a family, you know, we put a lot of things on hold. In a way, we missed out on things, but we didn't really care to, because we had so much money to put towards my medical journey. I mean, it's super expensive, but at the same time, when you finally find something or someone that is interested in helping you, you just kind of give it your all. And
Yeah.
it just got super, super expensive. And I came across LimeLight from Lauren Hilberding. So I'm from Ohio, and I knew Lauren from Ohio. And I was working at home from the time, and I would just always, for background noise, if I didn't have music on, I would have Lauren's live videos on,
Mm-hmm.
just watching her. And I started ordering from her, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. And something switched in me the beginning of last year. I switched jobs, so I'm still working from home. I'm just with a completely different company. And a month after I did that, I messaged Lauren one night asking her questions about joining LimeLight, because I just thought, you know, if I could just have something to pay
Mm-hmm.
for medical expenses, we would be fine. And so I thought it was just kind of one of the weird impulse. Like I'm definitely an impulse type of person. If I'm going to do it, it's going to be on an impulse. If I put too much thought, then I'm done.
Yeah.
And, I just got a gut feeling, and the next thing I know, I messaged Lauren at like 6 a.m. and I said, I just signed up.
So you're one of those that weren't like,
Yeah.
I'm going to join. And then like, you know, it's like this long, like you're somebody that's like, I just signed up.
Yeah. I messaged her at night, and I woke up and signed up. So that was kind of my reasoning for joining LimeLight to begin with, was just to cover those expenses. And, you know, because pretty much I feel like the whole time my husband and I have been together, I've just been sick.
Yeah.
So he just takes care of me, which is, you know, I'm thankful for. But at a point, it's like, I want to contribute more. And so I joined, and just slowly, I will say very slowly, started putting myself out there. And slowly doing that, I was able to pay off all of my medical expenses. Now, for me, when I talk medical expenses, I do see a naturopathic or holistic doctor. I'm on 0 pharmaceutical medication. So all my medicine is supplements, homeopathics, and I do colon hydrotherapies pretty regularly. I enjoy infrared saunas, ion foot detoxes. So there's different things that I like doing for my healing journey to help me. That obviously they're not covered by insurance, so everything's out of pocket, and all of that has been covered by LimeLight.
Yeah, that to me is amazing. But David took that route too. After we went to, you know, all these doctors, he kind of just came back home and was like, I'm gonna do the research myself, and I'm gonna do it on my own. And that's exactly what he's done. And he has made, I mean, he has his, you know, business back. I mean, I did want to ask you, because you live in sunny Florida, do you think the sun helps you, or is it opposite for you?
So I actually, if I'm in it in short periods, I do think so. But I've noticed, like, last summer was so last year was like my first year of kind of like being in tune with my body. And I know that sounds weird to people that don't think that way. But I've kind of been forced to be in tune with my body and listen to it. And during the summer months, because it does get so humid, I tend to feel worse, just because it's like you literally open your door and the humidity just like suffocates you. So I do find it to be a little worse in the summer. But if I do short periods of time, I do think that it helps.
David, his winter months are, hey, David, can you get them? His winter months are worse. And then the summer, but this is, we're in West Virginia. It's completely different than Florida. Now, if it's like humid and hot, like he can't stay out for, you know, any length of time, because it's just, it's too much. It's exhausting. But just that vitamin D, I think the sun like gives him just that boost of energy. So that the sun helps him, like, even like now, today's a sunny day, he'll go like sit out on the back patio for like, you know, 20 minutes just to feel a little bit better. So I was actually really wondering about that, but I totally get where it's humid and stuff. It's like draining, like it's just too much. And stress, does stress not have everything to do with
Yeah.
it?
Oh my gosh.
Stress is, I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
it could very well, okay, let me just say I'm not an MD, but I could say the same about David. David should be on here right now. Like I mean, I've never met anybody, you know, before I did this live, he gets on Facebook and he was like, you're talking about adrenal glands, and he was like telling me all this stuff. I was like, I can't remember like what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously though, you should talk to Katie. Like he just he knows so much, you know, about even you saying like being in sync with your body. And I think a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? Like that's just weird. But I think once I don't think you really get it until you yourself have been through it, or somebody really like your husband probably gets it. Yeah. Somebody, you know, really close to you will understand. But back to stress, like, do you not think stress could be the very cause of it? I really think that was the cause of David, you know, full blown, you know, adrenal disease. Like it was too much. We moved to Lexington. We were away from family. Like he was handling everything financially for years and years and years and years. A very high stressful job. And it, you know, your body can only take so much. That's why, you know, I try to preach, you know, even in our team too, about self-care, even with this business. Like you have to, because stress, I mean, I'm going to let you talk about that. But in my opinion, I think that's like the root of most of it.
It really is. And I really didn't think about stress that much until I started seeing an acupuncturist. And she asked me, she said, are you stressed out? And I said, no, I don't think that I am. You know, I couldn't think of anything that really stressed me out. And she kind of, you know, reminded me that our society makes us busy. So, you know, we're constantly go, 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 which in return just adds stressors to our body without us realizing it. And ever since then, I have like really just paid attention to everything. I mean, even just having, you know, my mom just visited us, and I was busier during that weekend. So the weekends are typically my downtime. That's typically, if I feel like doing extra, I will, but typically the weekends are my like rest time, and I take that very seriously. And so since my mom was here, we obviously ran around a little more. And you know, even it was ironic to me that today was the day for our video, because I woke up this morning and I was just done. I mean, I've kind of backed off like responding to people today, just because I have to give myself limits. And I even made little changes with my full-time job today, because I'm like, I can't do it. And if I have to be there, I have to make changes that work with me. And I actually got a new book in the mail. It's called The Adrenal Reset Diet. And I was reading it a little bit today, and it does, you know, it talked about how people that typically are givers, which, you know, I'm a yellow personality, so helping people it like, you know, highlights my life. And even with that, I think LimeLight has really helped me kind of put some of that into perspective, because I want to help people so much, but I have to find that happy medium where I can still tell people no, because even though I'm helping them, like I'm literally losing my breath, you know, to do extra. So that is definitely another positive from LimeLight is, you know, it's added onto my plate. So that could be looked at as a negative, but I have learned so much about myself. Even with having people join me, it's kind of like, you know, for people that join me, I sometimes feel like if you're joining me, you can't be the type of person that needs their hand held 24/7, because I can't be your person. I don't have that extra energy for you. But that's kind of, I feel like all the time I'm learning something new, and I'm constantly, because I do take the more natural route to heal my body, I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly researching and talking to people and trying different ways to heal myself, because I refuse to be told that, you know, that nothing's wrong with me, and I refuse to be on a bunch of pharmaceuticals that in return will just hurt other organs. So
that's the first thing that they'll push at you too. And you just saying like losing your breath or whatever, like I mean, people don't understand, like when David was in, well, he still does have his car business, but like having to talk to somebody about a car, he would have to plan it out, like throughout his day. He would be like, okay, I can't do anything for, you know, a couple hours before because I'm going to have to talk to somebody. And for you to, you know, tell somebody that, they'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But literally just speaking, like talking, like him standing up, like he would even stay inside our house to try to avoid neighbors, because as soon as he would go outside, they would come over to talk to him about a car or something, and he would have to like sit down in the driveway to continue talking. And he's like, I don't want people, you know, to be like, what are you doing? Yeah. But it's that real. Like, it's this much real of a disease than, you know, anything else. I mean, and you know what? I even think it's worse than a lot of diseases because it's all inside. You can't see it. Like, you can't see it. People look at you like you're completely fine, and it's all in your head, and you're crazy. And I am like really protective of David that way. I mean, you know, even it's just hard for people. I mean, even people in his family in the beginning, they were just like, you know, David's lazy, or David, like, it's all in his head. He needs to get up, and, you know, and people just don't get it. And I wanted to be like, you know what? If he had, you know, stage 4 cancer or something, you'd be over here like, it like infuriated me. And I was like, just because you can't see it doesn't mean, you know, it's not real, because it's a devastating thing to have. And I just think everything you say, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it's exactly what David has been through and still goes through. Like you said, the weekends are your downtime. Like, he'll even say, like, you know, if somebody wants to come over, he's like, it's so much energy, you know, we'll tell people just not to come over. And especially with family, that's hard for people to understand on the outside. They're like, what? Like, and I'm just like, you know, he's not crazy. Okay. We're not crazy. It just, it takes a lot of energy, and he's so much better now, but just going through that, and just the fact, like, just the way people like perceive it is my, like, and I think it's just because I don't know, it's not me, and I'm just like, I want to like beat it in people's heads, and I'm like, this is real. Like, why would we like put our family through this for nothing? I know. Just talking to you, I was like, oh my gosh, somebody else, you know, is going through this, and everything you've just said on this video too, you know.
And it's hard, you know, especially when you're meeting new people. I mean, people don't, especially, so when you're trying to meet new people and before you even have a diagnosis, that was a really, really big struggle for me in Florida, especially because this isn't where my closest friends are that I grew up with. So they don't know me in that way. Yeah. And it was very, very hard to meet people that I actually wanted to hang out with, but I couldn't because I didn't have that extra in me. And I didn't know how to explain that to them without them thinking like, you're, and it's hard for, you know, for family to understand, especially, and it is really hard when people, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse when you don't look sick, because everyone always throws in your face, oh, well, you don't look sick. And I'm like, I just wish that I could like turn my body inside out and be like, okay, here I am.
Yeah, I know. I said the same thing today. I was like, could you imagine if they saw like the inside, like, and David would even say, you know, I would love, like, not really, but he was like, if they were in my shoes for 5 seconds, they would be begging to get out. They would be like screaming to get out. Like, nobody, you know, could go through this. And like, even just what you said, like meeting new people, like his friends and stuff, they would know him from before, and he's like high energy and he's like, you know, I don't want to see these people, you know, that I used to know, because they're going to just think I'm like nuts because I can't keep up anymore. Like, my life's different now, the way. And you even said too, like, you have to make yourself a priority at some point, or there's going to be nothing left. Yeah. There's going to be nothing left.
It's definitely, there's even, so my book that I have, there's a quiz that you can take to see, like, there can be 4 stages. You're either thriving, or you're stressed, wired and tired, or you're crashed. And my husband took the quiz with me. So he really, I mean, he even takes LimeLight quizzes with me.
And that's the term, guys, adrenal crash. Like, they're called crashes, literally, because David's like, you know, he's like, I can't do that on Saturday because I'm gonna crash myself. And people are like, what?
Mm-hmm. And it's like one of the quizzes or one of the questions in there is, you know, how often or if you do it all, if you sigh a lot, especially when you're talking. And I sigh all the time. And, you know, sometimes I do it at the wrong time. Like if we're talking about something and I just let out this big sigh and I'm like, I'm just breathing. Like I'm not upset. I'm just trying to breathe. And so I liked seeing that in this book because, you know, then I felt like I could confirm that to him even more. Like, I'm really not annoyed. Like, I sigh all day long.
Yeah. And just reading a book like that or just talking to somebody else that has gone through it makes you kind of just feel like it's okay. Like, it's, you know,
Yeah.
this is real. This is normal, my normal. It's not because, you know, I even think at one point, you know, David was like, am I? Like, is this just in my head? Like,
oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, like, it's not. And it just makes me so mad that even doctors would try to make him feel that way. And, you know, people in his life would try to make him feel that way. So, but we are, thank the Lord, you know, on the uphill from that. It's been 8 years for you. I think I was pregnant with Brantley, and he'll be 6 in June. Okay. So it's been almost 6 years for him, and he'll count it up in his head. He's like, it's been this many days and like however many, 15,000 or whatever days. And I'm like, I know. But it really, but you know, what choice do you have? What choice do you have? But just to try to educate yourself as best as you can and make little changes, like, you know, removing any stressors, like any kind of outside stressors that David had, or like even like people. He was like, I'm sorry, like I'm more important, and I can't. Things that he used to tolerate, he just can't anymore. And I mean, you were saying the same thing, and I think it's so true.
I definitely believe in, you know, being your advocate. And, you know, that was, again, back to LimeLight, that was kind of my whole reason with wanting to share my healing journey. And I want people to understand that there's more invisible illnesses out there. Like, and if they're still not getting answers, there are other ways. I mean, you have to be your own advocate, because, you know, seeing different doctors and seeing different specialists and shoving different pharmaceuticals down your body is not going to help you. It's
going to cause other problems.
Yes. So for me, it was super important to be able to share that with people. And, you know, that even kind of felt silly to me at first when I first joined, because I'm like, really, who's going to listen to me? But I'm living it. I'm living through it.
And who would have thought, like, I would be like, oh my gosh, David, you know, because not many people. And you know what? I think a lot of people have this and they don't even realize what it is. Like, I think so many people have, you know, adrenal problems, and they have no clue, you know, no clue what it is.
I know. There's so many different things, invisible illnesses, and that they don't even, that they're just like the simplest tests that they can do, but that's not what's given to you in the medical world. And it's unfortunate, but there are other ways. So that's important to know.
Well, I'm so glad. So you've been, 9 months, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And LimeLight is paying your extra medical expenses because that's not covered by insurance.
Nothing's covered by insurance. So all of my visits, which also gives me the freedom to do extra, like, treatments, if you will. So the colon hydrotherapies, I can do extra of those. I can do extra foot detoxes, whatever it is. If I, you know, since I'm constantly learning and trying to find different things to fit into my routine, if there's something extra that costs money, I don't have to worry about that because LimeLight covers it. And it's just the past few months alone have just like blown up. And I've been able to not only cover all of my medical stuff, but I'm actually finally able to give Very money for like our bills. And it's super, super exciting.
And you're like, actually, it's kind of like your team just took off too. Like,
I know.
It was like overnight. Katie's like, oh, a new team member. I'm like, oh my gosh, Katie's like building an amazing team. So, hey, Sophie, will you unlock this front door? Sorry, my kids are like crazy as usual. But I think it's just amazing, what all just a business like this can give you, financial gain to, use whatever, because everybody has different needs, and you have very serious medical needs, and I think just having like something like this for yourself too, and building a team of your own, I think it's super fulfilling. I mean, at least for me it is, and it just gives you something else to just get off and be healthy for, like something else. Really, don't do that. He's dribbling a basketball beside me. And you know what? I know you have a little guy too. I saw it, didn't I? Okay, you can do this business with crazy kids walking around.
Yes.
It's totally fun. But I'm just so glad. Thank you so much for hopping on and doing this with me. Is there anything else that you wanted to add at all?
No.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Guys, if you have any questions, or, have questions even about health, reach out to Katie. Reach out to myself. I'll, pick David's brain. But, that's what we're here for. It's so much more than just, makeup and skincare. It's really a community on our team. And, we talk about stuff like this. We talk about, our lives, and I've enjoyed just getting to know you. I don't know how long we've been on here, the past 20 minutes, probably 30 minutes, the past half an hour, just getting to know you a little bit more, is really what it's all about. So thank you so much for joining me and doing this live with me. And guys, if you have any questions, reach out to me or Katie, or this video has been shared, reach out to the beauty guide that shared it with you. So thank you all again for everything, and we are signing off. Bye.
Bye.